Right, so there's a big debate right now in business as a whole, especially on the internet, of the hustle life versus the self-care life. And today's question kind of relates specifically to that mentality. And the question is, do you have to work 24/7 to succeed? Here's the thing. A lot of people put themselves in one of these two camps. They're in the hustle mentality where you got to work 24/7 to be successful. That's the kind of impression that somebody like Gary Vaynerchuk gives off, even though I don't actually think he believes that about everybody. And the other is this like hyper self-care route, which is if you're not taking a nap every day and you're not doing yoga at least 4 times a week and you're not drinking the right kind of tea, then you're not doing it right either. The reality is you have to find what is right for your season of life. There have been plenty of seasons when I was younger and had no kids and wasn't married where I did work practically 24/7. Not actually, but I worked a lot of hours because I was trying to figure it out, and it was in the early days and I was doing a lot of learning. And some of that work, a lot of that work, wasn't work that I was getting paid for either. I was just trying to figure it out. So sometimes in certain seasons, yes, you have to work a ridiculous amount of hours in order to figure it out and grow successfully. But there are other seasons of life where you have to adjust and kind of modulate what's going on to find the right harmony for where you are. Once you get married, that changes. You have a responsibility to your spouse to have a certain amount of time for that person. Y'all got to communicate to figure out what that is because everybody's personality is a little bit different. If your spouse's love language is quality time, well, you're going to need some quality time if you want to stay married, because I know I do. And then if you think about once you have children, that changes again. Like for me, one of the big things is I want to be home for dinner every night. That affects a lot of my decisions. Now, I'm not home every single night for dinner, but it's kind of an aspirational identity. So if I get invited to go speak at an event somewhere, I better really believe that that is something that I want to do and need to do, because it means I'm going to miss dinner with my kids. So you don't have to work 24/7 to succeed, but you need to look at the season of your life that you're in and go, hey, what kind of effort do I need to put in based on where I'm at and where I'm trying to go? And don't sacrifice the reality that sometimes unplugging can have real value. In fact, I'll link to another episode where I answer that question of how do I unplug from business, because I think that's where you can gain a lot of value and insight. So do you have to work 24/7 to succeed? No, but you also have to figure out where you're at in your particular season. And if you're not sure, you need a mentor. You need somebody to come alongside you, to coach you, to help you figure that out. And maybe you have an additional question about this and you want to talk about your season of life and help you figure out what your schedule or ideal workload might look like. Put it in the comments below and I will come through and answer all of those and kind of give you some feedback and thought based on my experience. So my life has changed a lot over the years. Right now I have 5 children who are pretty young, and I want to spend a lot of time with them because they're growing up fast and they're going to be gone. And so that means I'm not going to work as much. I love to work though. So for me, I have to intentionally draw away from that so that I can actually be focused on where my priorities are. And at the end of the day, when you're setting goals and you're creating vision for yourself, there's another video on that as well, you have to not just make those isolated to business. You need to know what your vision is for your life as a whole, because that's going to help define ultimately what you want today to look like, and that will affect how much time you're actually going to work. Hope that's been helpful. Love to hear your thoughts on the idea of how much work is enough work, how much work is too much work. Leave that in the comments along with any other questions you have, and thanks for being here for another episode of Q&A with Jay.